Hello
Right.
and welcome to Maidens of the Spear, where we talk about the Wheel of Time and we have a really good time.
Really
And
good
today,
time.
yet again, much to my pleasure and excitement, I am talking about the Wheel of Time with my really good friend Vic. Hello,
I do
Vic.
have I do have to say full disclosure, we have filmed the first three in the first day, but I partially did put on the sweater because I was like, I can't wear the same outfit in all three of them. I got too self-conscious about it. I was
Well,
like, at least we're kind of pretending.
considering Amazon released 3 episodes in one day, I think we can film 3 reactions in one day.
I think you're correct, but I'm worried the internet is going to be upset. The internet's going to be up in arms, is going to be
Okay,
furious.
all 3 reactions are being published within 24 hours of the episodes coming out. I think you
Right.
will understand, but that's okay. So we're here because we already talked about episodes 1 and 2, and if you want to start with episode 1, it's up in that corner now. But if and that's not true if you're watching live. That's only true if you're watching on YouTube. Sorry, live
Yes.
watchers.
Sorry.
And now we're going to talk about episode 3, aka A Place of Safety. And Vic,
Mhm.
what are your overall thoughts?
I really liked this episode. I don't know if that's like a hot or controversial take, but
I think it's a pretty standard take. I
I
loved this
really, this was
episode.
my favorite of the three
Yeah,
by
100%.
far. I'm a little biased too because my favorite kind of genre are like epics, like sprawling.
Mhm.
I really like things that take place over like following characters over like large swaths of time and space and things like that. It is why I love Dune so much. It's why as a kid, like I was obsessed with Lord of the Rings and things like that. You know, Forrest Gump, like anything that really just like Twister, anything
Sure.
that's like sprawling and epic and
Yeah.
really takes you on an adventure.
Well, that's
Forrest
kind of
Gump, Lord of the Rings, Twister,
Forrest
classic.
Gump, Lord of the Rings, Twister, and Dune.
Dune.
That's like the canon. Um, so that's great to hear. Let's just jump right into it. And Vic, just like the other 2 times, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the episode. But just FYI, now that our characters are starting to diverge, instead of going just chronologically through the episode, we're going to go by plotline.
Ideal, because I honestly love that. I'm so happy that they've all split up and that we're now getting to see like different parts of the world. Love it so much.
Yeah. So, okay, to start off, first scene, we're back with Nynaeve, and
Yes.
we're with her. She's being dragged by the old brave
freaking
bear.
freaking Sleeping Beauty. But yeah, before that, we find out that Nynaeve is back in that cave where Rosamund Pike yelled at her earlier. And she hides in the water, which I think is a weird choice. She hides in just a shallow pool, does not put her head underwater, just sort of like is in the pool like this, sort of like looking behind her. And I'm like, dude, they're gonna see you. We need a better hiding spot here. Are Trollocs like really good at smelling or really good at tracking?
So Trollocs are hybrids between humans and different animals.
Right.
So it
Oh, so I guess
depends
it
on
depends.
what kind of Trolloc they are. So like a wolf Trolloc might have a really good sense of smell.
Gotcha. Okay, this one did not look like a wolf. This one looked like a boar, maybe.
Yeah. So that kind of Trolloc might be better in combat, but not as good at the actual tracking kind of vibe.
Gotcha. Well, obviously, because spoiler alert if you haven't seen the episode, and if you haven't seen the episode, what are you doing watching this? Freaking dies. Dead.
Dead. Dead. Yeah. And did
Sad.
you notice anything about that death that jumped out at you or that you liked or didn't like?
I did notice something about that death, and the thing that I noticed about that death was the Trolloc wasn't actually befriended by Nynaeve, which I really
Oh
thought
no.
maybe was a possibility. So
Yeah.
it
There's still
still could
time.
happen in the future. There's still time, but that was the one big thing is I did notice that she killed him instead of
Befriending him.
befriended him.
Yeah.
um, she stole his sword, so maybe she's good at combat. I also thought this is silly, and I know that she's not because I know she didn't study at the White Castle, but I noticed that she is called something else, and she is not an Aja, an Aes Sedai.
She's not an Aes Sedai. She has a wisdom.
A wisdom. Okay, that is a confusing name to call somebody. Just a wisdom. A wisdom.
Yeah. So wisdom is in the Two Rivers the term for Like the medicine woman, the healer.
The healer. Okay. And so she's just like good with all of the like herbs of the area and stuff like
Exactly.
that. Okay, great. So yeah, because for a little while there. So okay, yeah. So is there something I should have noticed about that death? Was there something special?
No,
It was in a circle. Wheel of
it was
Time.
in a circle. Yeah, there you go. I was just
Okay.
curious.
Oh,
Um,
more things I noticed about. I'm so sorry. I got to jump back real quick. The opening credits.
oh, okay.
The first off, we get like the splintering little thing of yarn,
Yeah.
which feels symbolic of sort of like the end of something or something falling apart, which we sort of
Hmm.
know is happening because there's going to be a new dragon. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's no new dragon. Maybe that's the twist. But we also see that the yarn is kind of weaving its way through the the wheel, not
Hmm.
exactly that the wheel is weaving the yarn, which is interesting, I
That's
think.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had to say about that, unless you had something to add.
No, I like it. So in this world, reality, it's like all of reality is referred to as the pattern. So the wheel is always weaving the pattern, and that's just like reality.
Okay.
Hmm. So,
Okay.
okay, so we see Nynaeve. She murks the Trolloc in the pool, and then cut
Ugh.
to now we're back in present time. Nynaeve sword at Lan's throat, and they have their a little scene together.
Yeah, they have their little scene together, and he's like, I'm not going to take my eyes off of you. I don't know if I trust you. Does not want her to heal her at first, or wants her to heal her, but then is like, I'm afraid you're going to leave,
Yeah,
which maybe there's some tension between those two.
maybe.
I just like Lan so much, and I really want him to be happy.
Hmm.
I think is how I feel about it. And I like Nynaeve too, but it seems like maybe they're not meant to be together. Regardless, she's 25, so she can't be the dragon, right? Because the dragon came around 20 years ago.
She cannot be the dragon under the rules we've seen so far.
The rules we've seen so far.
I'm just don't read anything into that. I'm just
Too late. But regardless, I thought that was all very interesting. Holy smokes, Rosamund Pike looking translucent on the ground. And it kind of and I love Nynaeve, so don't take this the wrong way. She seems maybe a little bad at her job.
yeah. So one thing, just a reminder, we have learned twice when Moraine heals Tam, and then when the White Cloak captain, whose name is Jeffrey Bornhold, when he sees Moraine's wound, they do tell us Trolloc poison can only be healed by an Aes Sedai.
Oh, right.
It's
Right.
like it's evil and it's like magically poisonous. It needs to be cured with magic.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So we're sort of getting glimpses that Nynaeve probably is not magical.
She's doing, there are limits to her herbs.
I see, I understand. Okay, so she's a little useless in this situation. We still love her. This is no comment on her as a person, just in this situation. Sometimes you're useless in situations, and there's not really a lot that you can do about that. And,
Yeah.
Nynaeve is still perfect, and we still love her, and she's doing her best. But also, too, Lan, you should know this. Why does Lan not know this?
Lan knows this.
Then why is he wasting time? Why aren't they hopping on a horse?
I think she was like too sick to hop on a horse, I guess.
I see. So they're just trying to like maybe get a little bit of that poison like out or patch it until
I
they
think she
can get
just
her a
needs
little
to be
better.
like stabilized. I think Lan knows Nynaeve can't cure her.
Gotcha. Okay, copy that. All right, I feel better about this. Good job,
Yeah.
Nynaeve. You did the best.
Mhm.
You did your best.
Okay, and then let's just continue with their story. So Lan rides out onto a dramatic overlook. She
Mm-hmm.
sees a red tent, and then they ride off.
And then they ride off. Yeah, absolutely. And does then that bring us to that very last scene?
And then, yeah, so then we get to the three of them showing up, and there's seem to be some other Aes Sedai around.
And there seems to be some other Aes Sedai around, and we got the mean reds, and they are literally like, look who we found. It's the guy from the beginning who says he's the dragon, but we know he's not the dragon because we know one of the four is the dragon. Why is she not telling them that she thinks she found the dragon? Is there some beef?
I will tell you, there's some beef.
It seems like there's some beef. That doesn't feel like a spoiler. It really does seem
Yeah,
like, because just because you're an Aes Sedai doesn't mean that you get along. You might be
right.
sisters, but maybe they're sisters that hate each other.
Hmm. I'm happy to give you more context on that if you want,
Well,
but
here's sort of what I'm thinking, and let me know if I'm right or wrong.
okay.
And that would be that sort of like the blue and the red, I would guess, have some major beef because they're both sort of like, it seems like fightery types, but one is sort of with a purpose and one is sort of just is to hunt specifically men who do magic.
Yeah, so that is correct. The red and blue Aja are very kind of bitter rivals.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that checks out. Is she
Hmm.
going to heal her?
We'll find out.
I think so, but I think she's going to do a bad job.
Mm.
You know, that kind of thing where it's like, yeah, I'll heal you, but then like she can't use her hand anymore,
Ah,
or like it
brutal.
turns green.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be that bad
That
if it's
wouldn't be
still
that bad,
functional, but it's
actually. That'd be
green.
kind of fun, actually. Yeah, it's completely functional. It's just, yeah, like St. Patrick's Day green.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so and then you got your first glimpse of Logain, the man in the cage. Did you have any thoughts on him?
Logain is
Yeah,
his name.
yeah.
Oh, God, I
Logain,
hate that.
Logain Oblar.
Logain Oblar. I'm sorry if your name's Logain. That's hilarious. I hate that. Logain. Now, I think it can go two ways. Does Logain think he's the dragon, or is Logain saying that he's the dragon for clout? I think he's saying he's the dragon for clout to try and be able to keep his magic.
Hmm.
But they think from the first episode, it seems like the Red Aja seem to think that he thinks he's the dragon because of madness.
So I actually don't think those are the same guy.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind then. Scratch that, please.
Mhm.
Cut this part, and we're gonna cut this part.
We're not going to cut this part.
We're gonna cut this part. Just cut it right out, right there,
We're not going to cut this part.
and continue.
Okay.
So you know where to come back as I clapped.
Got it. Got it. Okay. We're not cutting this part.
Okay.
Okay.
You can, or cut it. Or cut it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yes, so they've got Logain, and did you get any sense from?
It just sounds like Rogaine. It's like and his hair is beautiful. So maybe it is working.
It is. It's actually a Rogaine ad. Everyone's been complaining about the product placement.
You got to use this QR code to get
Yeah.
15% off of your next order.
He didn't inspire any feelings in you. It seems like he's just there.
I want to
You have
know
those
more.
questions. Yeah. You
I
don't know
feel
much about
like,
him.
yeah, I don't really know much. You know, the actor didn't even say words. You could tell there was a lot going on in the eyes. But as of right now, I'm more interested in other stories and finding out more about like those. Let's be realistic, 3 than I am. Than I am knowing a ton more about like the cliffhanger of the dragon was less interesting to me than how some of the other storylines wrapped up.
Got it.
But I'll be interested, especially when I see, because I recognize this actor. So I feel like I like this actor in general. So I'm interested to see what else goes on.
Great. Let's turn to the second of the storylines. Let's go to Perrin and Iguan.
Oh, great. Really interesting. So we got half animals, Trollocs, are somehow evil, but the wolves are kind of our friends.
You think the wolves are their friends?
Well, it seems like they are at this point. The wolves are kind of like leading them down the right path.
Hmm.
So they're like being chased by wolves. Also, too, like, come on, guys. We're just going to try and outrun these wolves on our heels. That's the plan.
Yes.
I love Egwene. I love Perrin. This was a dumb move on both of their parts.
Yeah.
She talks to the wind, and the wind listens to her. I'm just
That's
saying, maybe we
true.
try and utilize that a little bit. Maybe
Do
that
some
is
magic.
why don't we try that first, and then, maybe backup plan as we run.
Yeah. How did you feel about the scene where Perrin is trying to light the fire and Egwene decides to try?
I think Perrin should be better at lighting a fire.
I thought that he should be too for a blacksmith.
Yeah. To me, I was like, and unless there's something else going on there. Okay. Unless there's something else going on there, I was maybe hoping I could get a little clue. Unless there's something else going on there, I really think maybe he's not Perrin.
Oh.
No, he probably is. That didn't feel true. You know what? It came in my head and I said it, and then I was like, no, I think he probably
That
is.
doesn't
I
feel
think
right,
that maybe
yeah.
is just a mistake.
Maybe
a writer's mistake that he can't. It's a writer's mistake that he didn't body switch with somebody, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think maybe it's just because he just had a random rock and a random knife. He didn't have like a flint and steel.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, then I think you could also like there could be a little more dialogue to be like, it'd be impossible. It's impossible to do like this. I don't know, like something a little more as opposed to being like it's not lighting. Not that he said that, but that was in the eyes.
So then they're running away from the wolves, and they end up meeting the Tuatha,
who are so ridiculous. They're fun. They're way more fun than some of the other people meet because they seem nice, but they also seem a little off. What is this song? My immediate thought was, what's her face was singing a song as they were not driving horses, riding horses earlier, and I was like, oh, maybe that is the song. Like that was my gut reaction. I was like, oh, the song that she was singing earlier. She was singing a song, right? Am I crazy on the horse?
You mean Iguan?
No. Oh no. Blue. Moraine.
Okay. You can call her Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike was singing a song earlier in the episode previous, wasn't she?
So the 4 Emmons Fielders sing a song.
Okay,
and then Rosamund Pike tells them what it's about.
Right. So couldn't that be the song that they were referring to?
Could be.
Why would their gut instinct to be like, we don't know the song? Why wouldn't you like try a couple of songs first to see if it's the right one? Right?
I mean, yeah, obviously that would have been my instinct as well. But
yeah, people are surrounding you asking you to sing. I would be like, I'd try something.
Yeah.
A little bit of Whitesnake, maybe.
So they don't sing the song. We meet
But this seems to be
Isla.
happy. They seem to like that they don't know the song. They're kind of like, okay, never mind. And so I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, I can tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Tuatha. The Tuatha they're called the Traveling People, and they have been searching for the song for thousands of years. It's like a cultural tradition that extends back to the breaking of the world. It's really just a formality in a lot of ways.
Oh, okay. Well, in that point, they absolutely should have just started singing to them. They lost the beat in their heart. That now I'm kind of upset at them. They absolutely should have just tried singing a couple of songs, seeing if it was the right one. It's the least they owe them.
Yeah, after they're giving them that delicious looking lentils.
Yes, turmeric maybe for that yellow color.
Yeah, definitely.
I completely agree.
And the Tuatha in the books, they're always described as like almost garishly colored, like.
Oh, I did not. I mean, they are, I guess, compared to but not even really, because all of the Aes Sedai are dressed more brightly than these pals, I think.
Yeah. I don't think it comes through. It's just for your reference.
I wouldn't have got that necessarily from there. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say about the last episode. I'm sorry, I'm literally jumping back right now, but was a thought that I had about her blue outfit. How is that also not a dead giveaway to the Sutton boys? It literally makes no sense. What are they called again?
The Children of the Light.
Children of the Light. Literally, how are they not like, head to toe in blue? Interesting. But honestly, maybe if you're going out in the world and you know there's a bunch of people that hate you and are hunting you, maybe don't dress head to toe in your color. You know what I mean? Like maybe just mix it up. If you want to represent, like, what about a nice blue shirt? And then, a brown jacket and some slacks. Just something to consider. They're not dressed colorful enough. I will loan them my jacket because I think you're right. I think they could use a splash more color. That being said,
your jacket is how I always imagine them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but I liked the vibe of the. They do seem a little off though, and they're like in this mist, and I am a little trepidatious of what's going on. I don't think they're inherently bad, but I think something is gonna happen with them. Like there's something going on with this group, I think.
There could be.
I have no other thought. I don't know what it would be exactly yet, but it does feel like maybe something's wrong or something's up with this group, even though I don't think they're inherently bad.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now let's move on to the third of the 3 plot points.
Oh, here we freaking
Your
go.
favorite, the one you were hoping they wouldn't spend a lot of time on, Matt and Rand.
Oh, I'm gonna puke. Matt, I liked a lot better this episode. Yeah, Matt, this episode I think came into his own a little more cheeky, a little fun. Yeah. We see him, like chit chatting and getting to know people, getting his purse stolen. Unfortunately, but unfortunately, real bad look for Rand in this episode. I think he just is getting worse and worse. Like I was thinking that, they're spending a little more time with him. Maybe we're going to be seeing a different side. And we kind of did, but it was worse. It was so much worse.
And what is the worst side what are you talking about?
He is so freaking mean to Matt. He's such a jerk top to bottom. Matt literally gets his wallet stolen, like his little coin purse. And Rand is just sort of like, sit down and eat your food. And I was like, Rand, have your friends back here. This freaking jerk just sang a, let's be honest, just fine song and is asking for money and then stole your friend's purse. And then you're yelling at your friend to be like, hey, chill out, calm down. I don't know. That's so dumb. And I think that he doesn't make a bad point where he's like, I just got my wallet stolen. You're the one that's like being kind of a jerk. You're going to cut the wood. And he's like, we'll do it together. And I'm like, I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate everything about him. I hate his little little smile.
And you didn't think Matt was rude to Rand earlier?
I think Rand was, or Matt was a little cheeky to Rand, but again, I think he's like upset. And again, Matt has actually lost something. He's trying to get back to his sisters. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I don't know. He's really got stakes here. And Rand has literally lost nothing. And I stand by that. He's fine. He's going to go back home and his dad is going to be fine. I think, knock on wood. Because if this comes back to burn me later, I'll still feel okay about it. Because I still stand by the fact it would be so much sadder if Matt's 2 sisters were gone when he got back.
Yeah. Okay. And then they are in the inn. And as you've alluded to, we met Tom, the Gleeman.
We met Tom. Oh, Tom is a Gleeman.
Tom is a Gleeman.
Ah, okay. I understand. So he's from the same group as that other group?
Gleeman is not a traveling people.
Gleeman is not a traveling people.
But they're both, okay, yeah, the confusion is they're both colorful. So the Gleeman are the ones who have the, like, cloaks of multicolored patches.
Gotcha.
In the books. But in the TV show, he has his jacket that's got colored patches on the inside.
And I want for the record, I didn't say that the song was bad. I just said it's not as good as everyone was saying.
Yeah. What did you think about that song? Like, what? Listening to it.
Well, it was like clearly a sad song, man. I want to go back and listen to maybe the lyrics because now I'm thinking there was a clue in the lyrics. But it seems like I think something bad happened to all the people because we find out later that, listen, did he steal all of Matt's money? Yes. But is he such a bad guy after all? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah. So he's just not a great singer. And I do think you should consider doing something else, in my opinion.
And I do want to talk about that scene with Tom and Matt at the cage out in the front of the town.
Yeah. Yes. I'm so curious about that crystal. Here's my prediction is because we found out about this new group and we find out you have it up, the scarf up, very dangerous. They're going to kill you like sight unseen. But if the scarf is down, they're, just, around, they're not in fight mode. So I have a feeling that at some point we're going to run into those bad boys and Matt's going to wave that little crystal around and that's going to somehow open up a line of communication.
Okay. And do you remember the name of that group of people?
Yes. It is
You don't have to look it up. What are you doing?
I don't remember. I was gonna lie. Again, I could absolutely never.
It's the Aiel.
Aiel. Oh, great, fantastic. Okay, Aiel. So it was. So I do think that we're gonna be seeing some of them by the end here. I liked it. There was like a lot of introduction. I think what I really liked the pacing of all this. He also saved a little horse, which I just thought was cute.
Yeah, he saved a little horse.
Yeah, didn't he? Or a wolf.
The toy. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking like a pony. Like
So I'm wondering if somehow like that is going to come back to be like, oh, like we found your friend and I buried your friend, and like that act of kindness is going to come back to like help him in the future. And who would have guessed that Tom is actually kind of a good guy and ends up, spoiler alert, spearing what's her face, who was a dark friend the whole time.
Yep. Threw that dang knife right through Dana's neck.
Though she made such a good point, and I was like, this is literally what I've been saying the entire time, which is that like it really is the way you look at it, because like from her opinion, she's like, no, like the dark guy is literally going to is not trying to kill you. He wants to help you. It's the Aes Sedai that are like want to kill you and control you. And I was like, it's interesting because it really is all about perspective. And I just like, again, we're seeing all of this from like the perspective of these four and Rosamund Pike. So I'm like, I don't know. I want to know more about the Dark One and this, what exactly they're looking to do. You know, I want to know more about that motive.
Yeah. And she's really the first, the first out and out dark friend we meet.
Yeah. Which was like, there was something a little fishy about her. Honestly, I was mad at Rand for not wanting to kiss her, and then I was also like, Rand, you're so lucky. And also, why are both of these beautiful women so into Rand? It really was disgusting to me.
So I know you don't like Rand the character. Do you not think Yosha Stradowski the actor is attractive?
This has nothing to do with the actor, but now his portrayal of this character is so intertwined that I don't think that there's any separating the two as the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I think maybe if I were to like meet him on the street, maybe I'd have a different opinion, but I absolutely cannot.
Yeah, you have no attraction to Rand. Because Rand is an annoying, mopey little sad boy.
Little bad guy who I wish would just like, I wish he would have been in the whirlpool. I wish he would have gone back for the guy's son. Honestly, then it would have been something to hold on to be like, oh, I guess that was like a noble thing to do. And then we wouldn't have to hang out with him for the rest of the episodes.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's how I feel about it. I'm sorry, but it is, honestly, you gotta be honest.
Yeah. Did you notice anything else about the Aiel that stuck out to you, or anything that happened in that exchange?
Yeah, that crystal is just very interesting. I want to know more about Tom, because I wonder if Tom's got I bet he does have a little bit of his own motives moving forward. My other thought is, I wonder if down the line, nerdy little loser, what's his name again?
Nerdy little loser?
Yeah. Rand. I wonder if Rand is going to become a warder for
Iguan. Yeah, good.
Because it feels like maybe that's the direction that it's going, and then they maybe will have that kind of relationship. But also, like, how much would that suck if you wanted to break up? Like, if all of a sudden you want to break up with your warder, and then it's just like, so we do still have to spend every waking second together, and you are still going to be obsessed with me. But I have realized what a freaking loser you are.
Yeah.
That won't be my words. That'll be her words. He's strong. Yeah, he'd be a good warder. Yeah. You can put yourself between me and danger. Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Were you surprised at Dana's reveal that she was a dark friend?
Yes. I was shocked. Like, I knew that there was something going on, but I thought that maybe she had wanted to come with them. But then all of a sudden finding out that, like, I was like, oh man, because I think I didn't realize that people were going to be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then her little speech where she's like, queens and fishermen. And so I'm like, oh no, that means that there's going to be like a bunch of other people that are like obsessed with the dark thing. And I'm just like, that really boggled my mind. So I am now going to be I'm going to be vigilant. I'm going to be constantly on the lookout. And that's making me think Sun Guys are maybe dark friends.
Mm.
But maybe the dark friend is disguised itself to be the light.
Oh, I see. The Sun Guys being the children of the light. Could be.
Because think about it, the light is just the absence. No, darkness is the absence of light.
That's true.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but it feels like there's something there to be that, it's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. A sort of take on balance, maybe.
Or at least maybe some of the people are dark friends. That would make sense to me. Because otherwise, technically, that would put, like, if we're talking, like, cosmically, then it would put, like, Moraine?
Moraine, yeah.
It would put Moraine on the same side as, like, the hand guy. The question asker, the questionnaire. And so I'm really just like, that seems crazy.
That they could be on the same side.
That they technically are on the same side. That they're all against the dark one. I mean, not everybody is obviously like equal or gets along, but like that to me is like, can't be. It can't be. It doesn't make any sense unless they are both a little bit bad guys. And then the dark friend is a good guy.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I want that out there just in case something. I'm putting out all of my even just.
I want all of them. Yeah. Is there anyone
thoughts? Because then if I'm right, I can point back to my like half a sentence of rambling to be like, see, I said it and I was right.
Is there anyone we've met so far in the show that you want to just lay claim right now? You think they're a dark friend?
Oh, I didn't even think about this. People that we've met already. Lan's a dark friend, I think.
Yeah.
I think that Perrin is going to turn into a dark friend. Again, I think that he's going to get consumed. I think that this is maybe going to be his Breaking Bad, that gets a little bit overwhelmed with all of this. And then because again, like the stuff that Dana was saying, like made sense. Like if you have like this strong conviction and belief that like the other side is wrong, then of course you're gonna like she doesn't think that these two are gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? She genuinely didn't. She was like, you need to stay here and I'm willing to put my life on the line because this is the right thing. And it's like, that's so scary. And I don't know enough about the world or the lore to know which one is correct. But again, if our last piece of information, and also too, like, the Red Aja literally have a guy in the cage who is like, I'm the dragon. You know what I mean? Like, why are we believing them? Why is it them that we're trusting? Why?
Good questions, Vic. Now, one of the things that Dana said is I've already called them.
Oh, yeah. And then that's when Tom's like, we gotta run.
Yeah. And she referred to having called one of the eyeless. Do you know what that means?
One of the eyeless, is that the screamy worm?
Yeah, that's the screamy worm, the Murderall.
The Murderall. So I don't know. I'm thinking, will it be the same one? Probably. And then that at least means that they have a direct line for two of them. Can they not go into the city? Oh, that was another big thing in this episode. Why is it that we continue to move past the path of where animals or other creatures refuse to go? I really think that should be our warning sign that we also are going to probably maybe just take a breath before we go on. Because like in the last episode, it was the Trollocs that were like, we're not going inside that city. And then they were like, we'll do it anyway. And they almost died. This time the wolves are like, we're going to hang here in the woods. And they're like, whatever, we're going to keep on going. And this hazy forest seems fine. So I just, no, I guess not forest, more field, but I am just curious as to why we feel comfortable ignoring nature.
I could give you an answer if you wanted.
Yes, please.
I will tell you, yeah. In the first case, I'm just going to play Shaitan's advocate for you.
Okay.
For the show. In the first case, yeah, they knew Shadow Lagoth was dangerous. and it was the only way they could potentially escape the Trolls.
That's true. That was Lan. That was,
Yeah.
and that's honestly another reason why I'm like, maybe Lan is a dark friend, because Lan is putting his personal relationship above like anything and everything else.
Yeah. And then in the second case, you did say maybe the wolves were helping them.
Yeah,
Maybe the
I
wolves
did.
weren't hunting them.
I do think that Perrin, because Perrin also had that thing where like the wolf was like licking his leg.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he also had that hallucination that we forgot to talk about, where was where the wolf was like eating his wife.
Yeah. What'd you think about that dream?
Oh, and then we saw Fire Ghost again.
Yeah, we saw Fire Ghost.
I'm not sure about Fire Ghost. I think he might be a friend.
You think Fire Ghost might be a friend?
I think he might be a friend. Maybe that's the Black Aja.
Oh, that could be what that is.
Maybe the Black Aja's, what is it called? Weave?
Weave?
Is that what it is? Is that like their special purpose? That's not
no.
weave.
Just their mission, their purpose.
Their mission.
Whatever.
Maybe their mission is nightmares.
They could be the Nightmare Aja.
The Nightmare Aja. So it'll either the technology is Fire Ghost is, I'm gonna guess, a Nightmare Aja.
Okay. I
gotta be getting close here at some point.
Did you have any other guesses based on this episode for what we might see going forward?
Again, I think my big guesses are going to be surrounded. I think that our fake dragon is what I'm going to call him, is going to be Trouble.
Okay.
And
you're talking about Logain.
Logain. God, the name.
I'll give you you're very close. The term for someone who claims to be a dragon and is not actually the dragon is a false dragon.
Ooh, a false dragon. Okay. So our false dragon, I think, is going to cause some trouble. And I wonder if the red Aja are going to sort of like throw their weight behind this false dragon. And then it's going to be some problems. Poor Rosamund Pike just has absolutely everybody against her. She just wants to get her freaking shoulder healed. And everybody's like, no, I don't think so. Literally, even her like team is against her at this point. Like her freaking warder was like, yeah, we're going to go into the Nightmare City. You know what I mean? Like at every turn, like if she's not on top of her game, literally everything falls to shit. And I feel so bad for her.
Just a lot of pressure on Rosamund.
It's so much pressure, and she's doing a great job. I want to give her a hug. I genuinely feel so bad for her. Other predictions. My big prediction, which I think has been one that's been pretty consistent, is I do think that Perrin is going to break bad in some way. And now that I know that regular people can be dark friends, I wonder if Perrin is going to become a dark friend.
Well, he did kill his wife.
He killed his wife, and he seems to have not really dealt with it in a huge way.
Yeah.
Or maybe he killed his wife. Maybe he knew he was going to kill his wife in that battle. I don't think so. That would feel weird if he knew he was going to kill his wife. But maybe it's a possibility. Who knows? But, I do think that you can't do that without any consequences. And if that ends up being a twist, is that he actually is kind of fine about it, then unfortunately, as charismatic as that performer is, I just don't think I can continue to be on board with him.
Yeah, I see. That's fair. Do you have any predictions about Iguan going forward, or about the Tuatha'an? What might happen with the Perrin Iguan arc here?
Yeah, I really do think that like something weird and something potentially bad is happening with them. They're in that like mist, and they all seem pretty happy. Which is fine. You can be happy and things can be going. You're allowed to be happy. That's okay. But I do think maybe there's something going on.
I feel like happiness is always a portent of evil.
Yeah, exactly. What do you have that I don't have? So I think there's something going on there. I don't know what it is yet, but I think it's probably something a little spooky, a little scary.
Spooky.
Maybe some sort of magic. I don't know why mist always makes me think of magic, but there's like kind of like a haze around those carts, and I'm just like, something's going on there.
Yeah.
And I think Iguan is going to have to get them out of there. Again, I want to know more about this magic. And I mean, a big prediction for her, if it's not already been obvious, is that I think she is going to become an Aes Sedai. With her little ceremony that happened in the town, were they talking about sending her to the White Castle, or?
No, they weren't.
Okay, so I think she'll probably end up at the White Castle at some point here, and she's gonna decide to train as in I keep wanting
Yeah.
to say Aja as an Aes Sedai. I'm also just now realizing I spelled Aja wrong.
No, I like it spelled that way. I thought about correcting you, and then I thought it was thematic.
Oh, I see. Mine spelled like the Performer and the Steely Dan album, I think.
um, Fantastic. And do you have any predictions on Matt and Rand's arc going forward?
Rand is going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
And Matt is going.
I can actually tell you, in the next episode, Rand will fall off a cliff and die. And that's
Don't tease me. If that is not what's going to happen, absolutely do not tease me. Don't tempt me. Then I also think, I think Matt's going to have a bit of a redemption. I'm really scared something is going to happen to his family. Because they really did just sort of like get out of town and they were like, they'll follow us. Don't worry about it. But we have like no proof. Like we've had no contact with anybody back there. Like we don't really know what's happening. The parents seem like really bad parents. So like the idea of leaving those two kids there, which is like his whole world, I am a little bit worried about. Right now where we're sitting, I still think that unfortunately Rand or Iguan on the bright side is going to be the dragon, but I guess I could also see Matt, or is it the kind of thing where it's like the power of friendship is the dragon?
Well, on that very question, Vic, it's now time for a new segment we're introducing here in episode 3, where I will chat. This is your chance. If you have any questions you want me to ask Vic that you want to get a non-reader's perspective on, feel free to ask them in the chat. Vic cannot see the chat, and if I think it's too spoilery, I won't ask it. But Vic, we have a couple questions for you. So
please,
on that very topic, we have Darkhound Slobber is asking. No, I'm sorry, not Darkhound Slobber. We have Funka Lunatic and Marissa Swank want to know who you think is the dragon.
So I keep going really back and forth on this. And so we know from this information from the first 3 episodes that Rosamund Pike was like drawn to this area because she thinks that the dragon is here. And for some, I guess, arbitrary reason, she was like, it's one of you 4. I'm just wondering, is it like, because I wonder if Egwene's magic is like clouding the idea. And I want to know like why these 4, like, are these the only 4 of this age that they're the correct age? That's why they're going. I am going to say and it pains me and I hate it, but I have such a bad feeling that it's going to be Rand and I'm going to be so upset.
And why do you say that?
I just feel like they're setting him up to be like special. And I just am really worried about it. I think like on my more optimistic side, I'd say it's Iguan. But I also would think that like, and I also think that maybe it's like one of in each group, like having 2 of like the biggest suspects in each group right now, because otherwise, like, I don't know, it'd be pretty easy. How did What's-Her-Face know that they were potentially one of them was the dragon?
So one thing she says early on, before they leave for the 2 rivers, she says, "There are rumors of 4 Tavirin in the 2 rivers." Did you catch that line?
Oh, yeah. So there's like a rumor going on that the dragon was born in this area.
There is at least a rumor that there are 4 Tavirin in this area.
What are Tavirin?
So a Tavirin, I'll fill you in on that bit of lore, I suppose. A Tavirin is basically just someone who is important to the pattern. It's like they're
gotcha.
Person, yeah, they're someone who is vital to like the continuing of the turning of the wheel of time.
Well, what's interesting is we now have 5 people from that area, don't we? It's like we've got because we just got back What's-Her-Face.
We got back
Nynaeve. So, I mean, let's just get him out of here, right? Let's lose the dead weight. Rand can go home. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we then have 4, and it's fine. I have a really bad feeling that they're going to do something with Rand, but I would guess Iguan, magic, Perrin, some sort of, like, dark turn, Matt is going to be like some sort of like a leader of some sort of note or importance, and I wonder if it has something to do with Tom and with like these things that he's stolen, at least for like to the beginning of his little journey.
Mm-hmm.
I have such a bad feeling that, long story short, I have such a terrible feeling that Rand is going to end up being our dragon, and I'm going to be freaking peeved.
We have a question from Curtis Franks. How do you feel about some of the more horror elements of the series?
I really liked it. I was so surprised, like, especially during that nightmare sequence. And I mean, like, I guess the bat last episode and our fire ghost, like, I think it's really cool. I don't know if that's true to the book, but I really like horror, and I like horror as an element in any kind of genre. Like, well, maybe not any kind of genre, but I do like it included in a lot of fantasy books and stories. And I think it's very cool, and I'm very interested to see how it plays out. I still am not totally sure. I still think maybe it's Black Aja related. Maybe. I don't know. I hope so.
We have another question from Marissa. What is your White Castle order?
My White Castle order? I don't know.
White Castle is a fast food restaurant.
Oh, right. What is it called? What's the thing?
It's called the White Castle in this series now.
Oh no. Is it called the White Castle? Am I crazy?
It is called the White Tower.
The White Tower. Okay.
But
what's my White Castle order?
Everyone loves the White Castle, so don't change it.
I'm gonna go with a burger, probably. Because I think they're a burger place, aren't they?
They are a burger place.
Burger and fries. Thank you for asking.
Yes. K. Richard J wants to know if anything about the appearance of the Aiel man or anything like that stood out to you.
The red hair was interesting. It seemed to be like there was maybe something black over his mouth.
Yeah, so that was his veil. That's the
that was his veil. Okay, so they ended up putting up the veil, I guess, at the end when they were looking to bury him. Anything else of interest? Were his eyes an interesting color? Maybe not. He had arrows in him and he was in a cage. Definitely stood out.
I didn't notice that.
I mean, the crystal is hard to get rid of. Like, it's hard not to notice and see. And I'm very curious as to what that is. What's the crystal all about?
We have a question from Woman Dragarin. So when Moiraine first starts kind of fluttering awake when Nynaeve is healing her, she kind of whispers something. Were you able to catch what she said?
No, I didn't. And I almost always listen with subtitles, but I didn't for this episode. What did she say?
She says swan, which I'll tell you is not the bird. It's a name.
Swan?
Mm-hmm. And
wait, could Rosamund Pike be a dark friend?
Oh.
And Swan's her real name, and that's why she's like, I don't trust you. I know you
could
are. Maybe I'm reading too much into this.
I think.
What if Rosamund Pike is a dark friend? And she's like, it's more complicated. She's like, oh, that's her whole thing. And she's like, it's more complicated than you can realize.
Oh, we lost Vic again.
To the sun. I flew too close to the sun. I got too close. And the internet said, no, get out of here.
Yeah. Well, again, maybe you got too close to the truth.
I got too close to the truth. And all of a sudden they were like, get out, get out, get out. Oh, man. Okay. So that is maybe... Okay, maybe that's going to be maybe my most left field prediction, but I think
Can you just rephrase the prediction in case we lost part of it?
I think that perhaps Rosamund Pike is a dark friend, and her sort of thought process being like, it's more complicated than you realize, especially because like Lan would have grown up near the Trollocs and like the, what is that, the area that they're from called again? The Borderlands. And so like maybe there's something along with there, and they're sort of like, it's a more complicated situation, and like the Aes Sedai aren't totally right either, but they are my sisters, and there's some sort of like loyalty there, but also it's more complicated than that. Okay, this is, I think we're onto something. Vic. Again, I recognize that that's maybe more of a way left field prediction, but a prediction nonetheless.
Yes, great. We have... Just someone's asking you to kind of call your shot right now. Do you think Funka Lunatic is asking, Whoever the dragon ends up being, or if they end up being anyone at all, do you predict the dragon would eventually join the dark side or the light side?
Oh, that's so interesting. Mm, can I say I think that they will join the side of Rosamund Pike?
Okay. Maybe a third side, the Rosamund Pike side.
The Rosamund Pike side. I think wherever Rosamund Pike sort of lands is where I think the dragon is going to end up
Okay.
going. Though it's so tough because then again, if it's like Perrin, I'm like, I think maybe the dark side. But then, especially if there's like teasing, because you can already with some of those horror flashbacks see that like something's going on with Perrin, and I wonder if that's like somebody on the dark side being like, hey, you want to see your wife again? We can make that happen. You want to see your wife again? No problem.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
she won't
true.
even be eaten by a wolf this time.
Let's say
Something going on there.
Shaitan, the Dark One, is the master of the grave, the Lord of Death. So, Vic,
How do
Jason
you not
M.
get tempted?
Jason M wants to know: are there any ships that you've already started forming in your head? Any ships you want to see come true?
Friendships.
Friendships,
No, I'm kidding.
but not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like that lady that got killed, and Matt. I think that they would
Yeah,
be a
Dana
really
and
cute
Matt.
couple. I think Dana and Matt are a really cute couple.
I liked their dynamic.
I like their dynamic, and I'm rooting for them. And you know, who knows? Maybe it'll work out. I like maybe there's like no, especially now like the smoldering chemistry between Lana and Rosamund Pike is just insane. But I guess they've made it very clear that that's never going to happen, which is insane to me because
Yeah, I'm happy to confirm that for you, just because it's in all the marketing material, so I don't consider it a spoiler.
yeah, totally. But it is like, I don't ever mind like platonic and strong bonds between people, but it's just like their chemistry is insane. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like those
No, I know. I was
actors.
feeling it.
Yeah, that just have like insane chemistry that feels like far beyond just like a strong bond of friendship.
Yeah.
Who else do I ship? Egwene and literally anybody but Rand. Like I want her, I leave her alone and let her. It really does feel like she's kind of like, I'm not dating anybody right now, and then I want her to fall in love with somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
Nynaeve
gets
and
us.
Egwene. I would love Nynaeve and Egwene to get together.
Oh, an interesting one.
I really would love that. They're my biggest ship right now, is what I'd say.
Not even Egwene.
Yeah.
That does lead us to another question. Tiger Royal says, "Wait, I missed the anti-Rand spiel. Why is Rand so bad?"
That is such a great question. I think he's selfish. I think I've sort of harped on this in an earlier episode, but I think I'm just like very over the trope of this idea of like skinny young white boy is the savior of mankind. And I really hate that. I feel like he kind of feels like that with his dad, who's like, they knew what Trollocs were, and they were like, so clearly there's something going on there, and he's like special, and they were able to kill a Trolloc, and like, I don't know. I'm just like, there's something about him that really just grinds my gears, and I am I can't explain it. Listen, do I have like a great answer? No, I just think he's annoying, and he's not good enough for Egwene in any way, shape, or form. And I'm happy that she broke up with him.
Yeah. Curtis Franks asks, I may have missed this earlier on, but it felt to me like there was a lot of hand-holding and explicit explanation of what was happening in the show. Do you feel like that was something as a non-reader that you needed, or that you appreciated, or that you even noticed?
I think, especially in the beginning of series, that I always appreciate, especially when not reading a book. I'll say in series specifically, specifically in series.
Yes, there you go.
I always prefer clarity over cleverness when learning a new world. Like, I would rather be clear on the rules of a world, which I know like sucks as a lover of a series and, you know, really getting into something like that. I think had they done this in a movie form, jump right into it. Let people
Yeah.
figure it out. Like, I think the Dune movies really were just like, we're diving in. You'll figure it out as you go along. We'll give you some visual clues and then have a friend that read the books talk to you about it. But for a series, like, I would way rather be clear on the world I am entering and clear on the rules of the world. That way, later on, as we dive deeper into stuff, I understand what's happening. And once again, I totally understand how, like, as an avid lover of material, that could probably be a little bit frustrating. But as somebody coming into it fresh, I do really appreciate them being like, you got this? Okay, great. We're moving on. Like that I do appreciate, because it's so dense. There is a lot.
Oh, it's dense.
There is a lot going on, and I feel like even even in watching it, and I feel like I'm picking up a lot of it. I feel
For
like Sarah.
reference, Vic, this is the Wheel of Time.
That's half a shelf.
That is the Wheel of Time. 4 million words, 2,700 named characters.
Is that true?
That's true.
2,700?
Yep.
So many. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm so happy that the series is taking their time to set it up very clearly for people that are entering the world, because they've been given so much time. And you said, what, 8 seasons they have planned out?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, I think it's probably a big reason why they released 3 episodes, is because they were essentially like, we know it's going to be a little slow, so we're going to get you into this. That way you don't have to like wait around right away. But I really appreciate the clarity as a non-reader.
Yeah. That's good to hear. That's definitely one of the main things that I've been wondering about. And our final little question here is, as a non-book reader, someone who doesn't know the story. Well, I'll ask a couple more because someone came in. So Curtis Franks says, how did Vic feel about the pacing?
We talked about this a tiny bit for the last one, but I think is like good, especially now coming into this third one, because I definitely do feel like the first 2 episodes were the pilot. Like, it really did feel like we didn't really start picking up and getting going until like the end of the second episode. But I am enjoying the pacing again. Like, for me, I appreciate having all of the information and like getting to know the world a tiny bit before we're immediately like thrown into this like adventure where we're all split up and everybody's running around. Like, it definitely felt like, to me, the third episode is like by far my favorite episode so far. Like, I really am liking the pacing of this third episode. And I do hope that they continue this pacing of the third episode moving forward. I like that there's a lot of storylines going on. Again, that's like my favorite part of fantasy, is that we're like popping in and out. We're seeing a bunch of different characters doing a bunch of different things in a bunch of different places, like Twister.
Well, on that very subject, Vic, Aisha wants to know, why do you think the group has been split in the way it has been, with Rand and Matt, Iguan and Perrin, and Lan, Moraine and Nynaeve? Do you have any thoughts on why those pairings?
Yeah, it's interesting. Just from a story perspective, I'm like, there has to be like some contrast within all of these different characters a little bit. They have conflicting wants. Like, it's a little bit easier for me to see with like Lan and Rosamund Pike, because obviously Rand has Rosamund Pike and Rosamund Pike only as his like number one focus and interest.
You mean
and Lan, sorry, what did I say? Rand. Lan has Rosamund Pike's interest in like, he'll do anything for her, even if it sacrifices everybody else, which he proved like twice in a row. Whereas like she has her best interest for like the greater good, it seems like. And it seems like maybe sacrifice him if it meant the greater good, whereas like he would not do the same for her. So I think that like push and pull contrast is very interesting. And then you throw Nynaeve in there, who is like actively, I think this is one where it's like, I think they'll probably have a common goal moving forward, but right now we're in contrast directly, which I just think is interesting. And then on the flip side of that, you have Perrin and Iguan. I think right now they have a common goal and interest, where they're both like, I think that these are going to be the 2 most magical characters of the foursome. Again, I'm making all this up. This is just my gut reaction
Yeah,
to
of
this.
course.
I think they're going to be the most magical, with Perrin being on the dark side and Iguan being more on the light side. And so, like, I think they have a common sort of goal and interest now, but I think they're going to go much further apart moving forward. So I think seeing them as a pairing is very interesting as of right now. And then Matt is cool and Rand sucks. And so I think
Right. So
that's sort of the push and
that's
pull.
the dynamic
They're,
there.
yeah. And I also think, too, like, Matt has, like, purpose and priority and sort of, like, maybe not a goal in life, but is, like, living for somebody. And it sort of feels like Rand is a little lost and a little bit, like, I don't know, passive. And I wonder if that's going to, like, they're further apart. And I wonder if they're going to grow more together moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like all these thoughts. They're very interesting. Vic, final question for you.
Yes.
Tiger Royal wants to know, as a non-book reader, did you feel the first 3 episodes sufficiently hooked you?
Yeah, absolutely. Even after the first 2, like, even though the first episode, like, wasn't my favorite, like, quote unquote pilot, even though I really do, again, think the first 2 episodes were the pilot. But regardless of that, even after the first one, I was like, yeah, I want to keep watching. Like, I immediately jumped into the second episode. I did fall asleep watching the 3rd episode, but that was not the episode's fault. I really enjoyed it, and I did have a dream about a fire ghost. So
you had a dream about a fire ghost?
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Thank you. So I don't know what that means for me moving forward. Does that mean I'm a dark friend?
Could mean that. Are you suggesting Rand is a dark friend?
Am I suggesting Rand is? I didn't say that. Are you saying that?
Well, you had a dream about a fire ghost, so I thought you might be suggesting that.
I see. Well, wasn't it Perrin that had the dream about the fire ghost?
They both did. Rand did in episode 2.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Because the bat. But then they all choked on the bats. So that made me think.
They all choked on the bats.
That they all had that dream, perhaps. But yeah, maybe Rand is also, or maybe somebody else is putting this in their heads where they like dream about the fire ghost. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Maybe somebody in my life is a dark friend.
Yeah. Well, Vic, overall grade for episode 3.
It's getting an A. I really like this one.
Baby.
I'm worried
as well.
Okay, good. Because I'm worried because I'm always hesitant to give things A's because it's like hard to go higher than that.
You know, I thought about that when I set episode 1 at a B-. I was like, am I giving myself enough leeway?
Room.
And then I'm like, people are going to be mad at me if I call it a C. So I think this is a solid A. And to me, an A is like a good episode where I'm like,
it was really fun. We explored a lot. Like, we got to know the characters, and I feel like a lot of these characters are starting to come into like their own a little bit. Like, Matt, I think really had like a good shine in this episode. I was really happy with the reintroduction of Nynaeve. Like, there was so much to like in this episode.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. And we have to wait until next week to watch episode 4.
BS. I hate that.
I know, it sucks, but that's okay. And that'll be like during Thanksgiving. So
Oh yeah. It literally will be Thursday on Thanksgiving.
It literally will be. Yes.
Are you and Mary Lou going to be leaving dinner to like go record this?
Probably.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know what our plan is yet. I will be in Texas. So next week, everybody, I will be in Texas. We will definitely still record, but it might be at a slightly different time or something because of Thanksgiving. But you can see Vic's review of episode 4 next Friday, hopefully.
Can't wait.
We'll have to sort it out. Keep an eye on our social media so you can find out. You can find Vic at... Where can they find you, Vic?
VICMMIC.
And you should follow...
I almost gave out my email.
You should follow Vic on Twitter and TikTok and all those places because they're very funny.
Thank you.
You should follow me at Spear Maidens on Twitter so you can find out when I'm streaming with Vic. And you can also watch us on YouTube at Maidens of the Spear. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. This has been Maidens of the Spear, where we talk about the Wheel of Time. We have a really good time.
Really good
and
time.
We hope you all had a really good time. Bye.